Welcome to another edition of the Talking Archive. I'm your host, Josh Jacobs. I'm your host, Josh Jacobs. You can find us on Instagram at JoshDJ57. That's JoshDJ57. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel right now and get updates as we post new interviews once or twice a week. And our guest today is Stacy Waller-Hulliford, and she's a dancer, actress, and she's been in many TV commercials. She was also a dancer on American Bandstand, has done a lot of other dance performances around the world, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. And Stacy, thanks for being with us.
Absolutely. My pleasure, Josh. Great to chat with you.
Well, tell us about your life growing up and how you got into dancing and acting.
Yeah, it's so funny. When you had asked that earlier, I thought, my gosh, I don't ever remember not dancing. I just loved to dance all the time when I was a little girl, and just dancing around the house. I started dancing on my parents' feet when I was 2 years old, is what they say. Just begged and begged to go into dance classes, and they finally got me in classes by the time I was 5. And I just loved music and dance. And when I grew up down in San Diego, I just had a lot of experiences with my dance studio, and I would be at the studio every time that they were open. And when we moved up to Orange County, it was so wonderful because we were closer to Los Angeles, and we would watch, I'd be watching Saturday morning cartoons. And the way I remember it is that I would see these commercials on TV, and I'd say, Mom, I want to do that. I can do that. And it was always, she said, you just always want to be making people smile. That was my thing. It's like, I loved being on stage, just like making people smile or giggle. And that was what really compelled me when I was young. And when I saw TV commercials, I thought, that would be fun. And sure enough, so I begged long enough and nagged on her and my grandma long enough. They finally got me into an acting class. It was a commercial acting class. And started from there. I guess I got scouted from I guess they have agents that normally come into that and those, and that's how I got an agent and went from there and did, a number of commercials and had fun. I had fun until it wasn't fun, and then I got out.
Well, there you go. If you don't enjoy it anymore, like Dandy Don Meredith said with football, I wasn't enjoying it anymore, so I got out of it.
There you go.
Probably the most famous one you'd mentioned was the McDonald's You Deserve a Break Today, which was written by Barry Manilow, who also sang the theme to American Bandstand, so there's a little bit of a connection right there. How did you tell us about the audition for that particular commercial?
Oh, my gosh, that's so funny. I never put that together. That is so funny. Actually, the audition, I don't quite remember as much as when they they'd get kids together. There were 3 or 4 of us, and they would have us interact with food, have us interact with, they'd have someone tell us a joke and how we would tell it to each other and that kind of thing, kind of just seeing if we were comfortable with one another. The commercial itself was a series, the You Deserve a Break Today, and it was, looking back on it, I remember it very differently than looking at it today. My son actually found it online not all that long ago, and oh my gosh. But it was a very sweet little story, and the end of the commercial ended with me laughing, and it put a little square around my face and said, "You deserve a break today," which is why it was kind of more, I was recognized or whatever you would call it back in the day when I was, in school, and it made some difficulties with friendships and relationships back then because it was just kind of an awkward time. But as far as being in the industry, it was incredibly rewarding and so much fun on set. That was the first of a couple of McDonald's series that I was fortunate enough to be a part of. There was also one called Car Wash. We washed cars for a fundraiser for our band and all kinds of fun, silly stuff. So,
wow,
did a couple. Yeah, it was really great season.
I think I went to that McDonald's where I forget where it is. I think it's somewhere in Orange County or Orange County border where it's exclusively a building that's dressed up like a McDonald's, but it's done for the commercials because it's much bigger, and so you have more room to put studio lighting and cameras and all that good stuff. Was that where you filmed it at that special McDonald's?
Oh my gosh. Okay, Josh, now you're really getting my memory because that was 40 years ago. So that I wouldn't know. I don't even think I was driving then. But what I can tell you, I do remember, if you want to know a funny story about on set, they do have, the McDonald's that we were in, this I remember about it, was not an actual McDonald's. It was a set. Mm-hmm. And what they did was they would give us food and we would sit there at the little tables and we'd take a bite of it and, we'd be laughing and talking and that kind of thing, and then cut, and then we had a spit bag, just as if you were wine tasting, you just spit out the food next to you. But what was so distasteful was that they would, before each one of the takes, mm-hmm. they would take the lettuce was taken out, the tomatoes were separate, the hamburger was separate. The lettuce and tomatoes they would spray with a spray bottle of water so it looked fresh and it had little, driplets of water on the edge. The hamburger, they had a paintbrush, and I remember it so distinctly. They would dip it in this little styrofoam cup that had oil in it, and they'd brush oil along the edge. Mm. And they did the same to the French fries. So we're biting into these things that are just absolutely disgusting and so oily and creepy and having to smile and go, oh, this is the greatest thing. And most of the French fries were not fully cooked because they want them to stand up straight so they look fresh. Oh, my gosh. It was like, I still can't eat a French fry to this day. So.
You're lucky. I wish I could not eat French fries to this day. I'd probably be about 10 to 20 pounds lighter if I had done that commercial.
Oh, it's so fun.
Well, yeah, I heard about them doing that with products on TV commercials and especially print ads, like a Thanksgiving turkey, for instance. They based it with a lot of oil and they spray it with this, I don't know, some sort of aerosol type of thing to make it look shinier and more well done and more appetizing. But obviously in that case, that's inedible. But it's kind of funny that you told me the story about the burger just being terrible tasting. I guess it's kind of like the Lucy Vitamita Vegemin moment, except instead of alcohol, it was just the taste of it in general was just bad.
Yeah, well, it just was greasy, it left a film of grease on the roof of your mouth, And I remember that every once in a while you get a French fry that was absolutely not cooked. It was frozen still because they wanted it sticking up straight. It was just, oh my gosh, what am I doing with it's just a funny experience. Like you're 10 or 12 years old, you don't even think about it then. So anyway, a lot of fun. The car wash commercial was another fun one because we got drenched. We had to have at least 6 or 7 changes of the exact same outfit because between every take, we'd have to just go into our trailer and completely change again, Oh, it was a lot of fun. And
then, of course, hairstyle and makeup and making sure everything looks exactly the same as it did beforehand, before you got drenched. Man, that must have been work. How long did that commercial take to film that day? Do you remember?
It would be anywhere from 3 to 4, maybe 3 to 4 days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, about a week, usually. The interesting thing back then, and one of the reasons why I ended up kind of walking away from the business, maybe more in my high school years, was because back then there was actual video or actual film. There was an editing room floor when they actually did, film and then edit things. It took a little bit longer than it does now. There's no such thing as reality TV, really. And what they did was film commercials for, say, Christmas in the middle of July. They need that lead time for all the editing and everything that they did. It was at least 3 or 4 months in advance. And I got chastised a number of times by my agent that you're so tan, we can't send you out for Christmas, anything Christmas, And I'm like, how does a kid in the summertime not go to the beach, not, hang out with their friends? And it just changed. It was like, it was no longer fun. I had to be, pasty skinned in the middle of the summer. It just, it wasn't worth it to me. So that was kind of one of the things I got turned off about. But, it wasn't my life. It was just something super fun. And then, like I said, when it wasn't as fun, I just walked away.
Funny you mention that because I remember going on auditioning for a State Farm commercial and I got it. And it was great. We filmed at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. And I was bundled up. Me and the person I was on the screen with, we were bundled up like it was sub-zero temperatures. but it was 95 degrees that day. So they had fake snow on the seats. They sprayed fake snow on us and fake snow up in the air as well. We were singing Feeling Kind of Sunday by Frank and Nancy Sinatra. And it took about an hour, and our scene on the commercial was less than 2 seconds. I was holding the D for defense. We were the lovable loser football team fans. So I was an Arizona Cardinals fan, and it turned out that season the Cardinals went all the way to the Super Bowl thanks to Kurt Warner being quarterback. Now they did lose in OT against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but it was the other teams in that commercial also actually did much better than they anticipated. But again, it was summertime, but we were bundled like it was Sub-Zero. But then afterwards, I didn't want to take my jacket off, even though it was really hot. I was like, this is going to feel so bad. I'm going to feel so uncomfortable just shredding the jacket. I just want to keep the jacket on right now.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, you totally get it. You absolutely understand.
I do. And then the beach scenes where they shoot, photographs of women in bikinis, that's done in the dead of winter, they say.
Exactly. It's not all it looks like. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors to the show business, if you will.
That's true. Or even movies. There was a movie called 40 Pounds of Trouble that had Tony Curtis and Suzanne Pleshette. And they filmed a lot of the scenes at Disneyland. And they made it look as if when you were looking out of the edge of the monorail that you were looking at the Sleeping Beauty castle. But in actuality, that wasn't the case. But since Disneyland was a pretty new park back then, people thought, we just fool people thinking that the castle is from the viewpoint of the monorail. Now people watching is like, wait a minute, they cheated right there.
That works. Yeah, that's not where that goes. That's not that view. Those of us Disney fans, huh?
Yeah, exactly. This is the Talking Archive. I'm Josh Jacobs. We're talking with actress, dancer, and now author Stacy Waller Halford. And next time we'll find out how she got to be part of American Bandstand.